So let's continue with the work that we've been doing. The work that we did on our app yesterday. You're very much welcome to the stream. We are going to continue with our mobile app that we were working on yesterday. Our mobile app is called Quizzer. It's called Quizzer. It's an educational app that allows users to get access to personalized quizzes, but also they can be able to get access to a tool where they can be able to scan out various questions and get answers, but also get explanations of how to arrive to this answer. So it's an education tool that allows learners to learn effectively, and we are going to launch this on the Apple Store. We've been coding out this, and the process is amazing. So I'm going to call upon you to please join the process by subscribing to the stream and ensuring that you have access to our upcoming streams as we continue on our quest to ensure that we use vibe coding and being able to hit up to $500,000 through the revenue that we are going to get from these tools. So if you love the content that we put out and you want to follow this journey, if you also want to learn how we get to do these products, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to this site and ensure that each and everything is well, or something that you can be able to follow up. So we are going to start off right away. So this is our app. So like I told you, this is an app where someone can be able to select their different kinds of edges, and when they select the edge, they can continue to get access to various lessons, and from the lessons they can continue to personalize this further with a selection of their country. So you can be able to select any country that you want, which is quite great. And then from there you can be able to continue to attempt various personalized quizzes. These quizzes are personalized based on mostly what you want to study, because we have 30 plus subjects that are embedded in this app. Also, when it comes to this other element, you can be able to scan out various questions. We understand that there are very many apps that offer this kind of tool where people can be able to scan questions and get answers, but what we offer is a tool that, first of all, where you don't even need to mention the subject. What you're going to do with our tool, you can be able to scan out any question in any subject. So the tool itself, it lets you know which particular subject that question is from, and then it's going to attempt that question promptly. So that is a better practice, because I thought about something that is quite great, something that you can be able to use to solve different kinds of educational problems. And I believe if you have quizzes coupled with solving these problems by scanning and getting answers, then that is a valid thing. The other thing that I look onto when you're looking onto features that you're going to develop for any app, always what you're going to look at is a framework of what is already working. When we look at apps that help students scan out questions and get answers, they are really working. They are working. There is a validated market for them because students have these questions that they want to solve, and when they have access to a tool like that that can solve their problems promptly, then it becomes very, very easy. What I can tell you is that what you're not really going to do is that you're not going to reinvent the wheel when you're creating apps. What you want is to have an approach, an easy approach where you are going to first of all get to study what works, and when you study what works, then you're going to promptly attempt to emulate and give out services over maybe what is already working, but it's not working well. You can go maybe to the App Store. You get to study various apps that are already there. A service that is already validated that people need it. A service where there are people who are making reviews and they have this problem. Maybe they feel like this problem is not being solved in a much more better way. So you come in and you are able to solve that, and maybe in a much more better way. So that approach is much more better. It's much more better than you going into a field that is green and you're creating an app that is new where there aren't any competitors. There is no person who is already solving that problem. That becomes easy for you to, rather difficult for you to get access to users because you are validating something new. But if you're validating something that already works, something that users already have urge for, they have an eminent problem, an evident problem where someone is already trying to solve that problem. Maybe there is a simple app, but it's not working and it's not fully solving that problem. So you can come in and be able to counter that by solving that problem in a much more better way. So that is what we are doing with our educational app. And what we were working on yesterday, we are making a few refinements. What we worked on actually is that we worked on this screen. We never had this screen. We worked on it. It is it explains more about the app. So it has various sections. Section for the dynamic quizzes, the AI scan, and the quick results. The other element that we worked on yesterday also, we fixed that very screen, and we remember our app has logic to change. Users can be able to use it in various languages, over 7 languages: German, Spanish, French, Korean, Japanese, Portuguese. So you can switch to any language of your preference. So we had this screen, and we had not yet customized the elements for this screen. So we customized them very well. So you can be able to switch to any language. Let's first switch to maybe Korean. When we look at it, so it is the same screen, but we can be able to view it in Korean. One of the best practices that I feel like is very important when you're giving out a service and maybe you want to reach out to various audiences. There are very many people who really need apps, but they don't speak English. So when you create your app and it's just customized in English, it becomes very difficult for them to grasp it. So what I do, my kind of approach is a multilingual approach. So when I'm approaching an app, I always want to create it with a functionality or logic to be switched to another language. So users can come into an app and they can switch it to that particular language, or they can access it in that language, which makes it quite easy for users to navigate it, because if they're navigating it from another language, it becomes quite easy. And that is, to me, one of the best things that you can be able to add to your app and widen your demographics. So when you switch it maybe to and say switch it to Portuguese, still you are going to get all these screens and get access to them in Portuguese. When you go to the explanations, you're going to see them laid out in Portuguese, which is a better practice. So someone who only understands Portuguese, they are going to come onto the platform or your app and they're going to use it. It's a better kind of practice that you can add to your app. So that is what we've added to this app. The other modifications that we did, they were outside on the onboarding screens. So we have quite a very lengthy onboarding. Our onboarding is quite lengthy. It takes up 24 screens, and the reason as to why it is lengthy is because onboardings are very, very important when it comes to allowing users understand the value proposition of what you offer in your app. I'm going to explain that, but if you have just joined us and you've not yet subscribed to our channel, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe. We are on a journey to create mobile apps until when we are going to hit revenue of $500,000, which we are going to get from these very apps that I'm creating here publicly. But when I'm creating them, I also want to explain as much as possible the use of the various items that are in apps. Why is it done that way? Why am I doing it this way when I'm on stream? And I believe when people get to follow along, they're going to learn, but I'm also in the process, I'm learning as I'm updating whatever I am teaching you. So it's a learning process for the ones who are following the channel, but also for the ones who but also for me who is really working on these apps. And I believe it's already a beautiful journey, and it's going to continue to be a beautiful journey that we are all going to be a part of. So to be a part of this journey, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for that. So let's continue. The reason as why we have a lengthy onboarding screen is because these onboardings are a way for your users to fully understand your app. And the way they're going to understand is for you really creating more screens that are going to bring out the value proposition of what you offer, and also ensuring that you psychologically create confidence in all the users who go through your onboarding to understand what you offer and how they can be able to benefit from the app that you've created. So that is one of the most important things that you can do. So we made a few refinements here. We added new images to this screen. I think we shall further refine this screen and just ensure that this subheading, which is bolded, just takes up one line. But let's go and look at the other screens that we also made changes to. So let's log in. We've used Google authentication to add authentication for Google in our app. We understand that is one of the most easiest authentications that you're going to use, because most of the people use Google for their email services. So it's very easy for them to log in, which is easy. Now for this screen, we added functionality. You have to select a certain grade. Given that this is a learning app, you select it and then you continue. And then you continue with the reaffirmations to set your performance goals. And as you continue, you are further reaffirmed on joining a community of students, and mostly you get on the road of understanding the app. So this is the thinking, the screen, and it further goes on with the reinforcement of what you can master. And when you go, it allows you to narrow your focus. You get access to the subjects, and then from the subjects, you get access to the subtopics, some of the subtopics of that particular subject if you selected it, and then you continue. And when you reach here, then it starts to ask you, how do you learn? Do you want something that is casual, 10 minutes, serious, or a sprint, 30 minutes? So you select one of those and then you continue. And here you are further prompted to select how you're going to to set the length of your session. And then when you select that, you further continue on this road. And here they tell you to define your session depth. And with the depth, you are going to select various questions. So this question selector is animated. As you go on to add some questions, it turns to orange, and as you decrease it, it lessens the number of the questions, and then you can select that. And as you continue, you get to view this screen, which tells you to plan tomorrow's session, and you can click on that to continue. And when you continue, then you get access to this screen, which is the scan and snap and solve with AI screen. So when you click on it, it first of all shows you that you can be able to scan any question and get instantaneous answers. And then with that, you can be able to continue. So it's quite a lengthy onboarding, but the reason as to why it is very important to have a lengthy onboarding, it is because it really teaches you how you can get access to, ensuring that you teach your users what they can learn. So let me go here. There is a website that I want us to check out. So it's called Screen Designs. I want us to go to this website. Let me put this in the back. I want us to go to this website, because this website teaches us something. So let's say we are looking for a learning app. So when we go to this, so when you come to this app, this app is very, very good, because here you get to actually understand what your competitors make in terms of it's called Screen Designs. You get to understand what your competitors make in terms of the money they are making. But when you look at the screens that they have, so you get to see like this answer, which is called Answer App, Posology AI. They are making $35,000 per month. Then you look at this Math Solver, Homework Help. They're making $50,000 per month. So you can click on any of these. And let's say we click on this. So clearly, you are going to see how they have set up their screenshots. So these are the screenshots that they have. They have some other screenshots which are unlocked because you are not on the payment plan. But with these, you can be able to get a glimpse of how they have organized their onboarding. So if their onboarding is converting and they are able to get $50,000 per month from this app, then it becomes easy. There are several apps that you can get here. Maybe if you are on a paid version, you can be able to get access to full screenshots. You can also check out another one like this, and you get to view them like this Math Solver. You get to view that onboarding screen, and then with that, you have a glimpse of what is working, what is not working. So you get to go through that, and you can be able to even further tweak your onboarding to suit what is already working for them in terms of the onboarding. So that is one of the processes that you can be able to go through to check out what is working. So this is one of the platforms that I believe you can check out for any competitor app or any app that you're trying to build. You can go to Screen Designs, look out for a specific keyword that relates to that app. You can view, you can get to see the money that they make, but also you can get access to their screenshots, the full screenshots of the app when you're on the paid plan. And you can use that as a framework of building out your app in a much more better way. So that is why we've set up our onboarding, and it is quite lengthy, just like the way you see it. So let's go here, and we continue going through this. So we further go to reaffirm the uses of our app, where users can be able to sync out any, they can be able to sync with our app from anywhere, from home, from the library, everywhere they are, to be able to use it. So you further reaffirm. So you tell them stay on track, get gentle reminders. Psychologically, you are preparing them to use your app, which is one of the most important things. So if you never prepare them psychologically, it becomes difficult. And then after all of that, they are going to get a personalized score of where they are. So currently it's showing me that I'm at the level 41 based on the information that we've gone through. And then it's telling me that I can be able to reach my target score within 4 weeks if I continue to use the app, which is quite amazing. So when I click here, I'm also reaffirmed to this ratings screen, which further reaffirms the use of the app, and it is telling me like to help reach out to more students, and I can start now with that, and from there I get access to this payment screen. So I tweaked this payment screen a little bit, and we had a payment screen that was blank. So I added an image. At the top of I added an image at the top of this screen, and then I added this ratings element, which further reaffirms that we are getting good ratings for this or the social proof part of our app. And then when you look at here below the elements that I've added, this one, the save 30% card, which is within the annual unlimited card, is highlighted very well, which further reaffirms that someone can get and save 30% if they pay the annual fee. But further, we have the monthly fee. So if they cannot be able to afford the annual fee, which is subsidized, they can go to the monthly fee. The other thing is that when it comes to this paywall, maybe when someone is not going to pay and they feel like this pricing doesn't really work for them, if they go on to maybe cancel this screen, when they cancel, we show them, we reaffirm them with this trial screen. So the trial screen, for it has one of the best psychological elements. It starts with a text which says no commitment, cancel anytime, and says start your journey with our best features. So if they are not able to buy from the other feature to continue with the other feature, we reaffirm that with this text, no commitment, cancel anytime. It is very psychological, because someone knows that even when they join the free trial, they can cancel it anytime if they are not really convinced with the features that we are offering. And it also has this text that is in the black card, which states limited time offer. That is also something that reaffirms that this offer is not something that is going to last for long, so they can grab it as fast as they can. So we offer them we also have another card, which is the review card. So we've added this because we feel it is very important to have a review card, which further reaffirms for the people who have already used the app, what are they getting, what are you going to get when maybe you go through the free trial. So it's a free trial for 3 days, and then after someone can be able to pay a fee of up to $12.99 a month. So we also have the continue text. That text is also psychological. You know, when it comes to the payment, the paywalls are psychological. So when you have paywalls in your screen, you're not going to have a single paywall. You're going to test out different ones, like we already have two, but in the due course of our app being on the App Store, we are going to test out various paywalls, and we are going to show it a select few portion of the client to see how they convert. So as we go on to test, we get to see the things that are working, or the paywalls that are working, and then we reaffirm that in a much more better way. So let's make a simple change to this given that we have a reference card. I want us to generate an image and replace that image that we have on the reference card with the real image of a user. Let's refine this. So our screen, I've set up so you see, in developing of this onboarding screen, I set out a plan, which is the onboarding psychology.md. I have it here. So this plan had purpose for each and every screen, and I also had demo screens that I got from Google Stitch to reaccompany what I was working on, so which made the process much more easier for me to set out and work on. So let's go and look at the purpose of this particular screen, which we already have in our app, which is the trial screen. So the purpose of this screen, it is to catch users who reject the hard paywall by offering a lower risk entry point, which is the trial, like I've explained it to you. But now we want to reference this screen. So let's reference it, which is the trial. So we are going to make changes to this screen. Let's create a realistic image for our review card and replace the current image with a real image. Use nano banana. For the creation of this image, and ensure that the image is a close-up face over a 17-year-old lady. So we want to create this image. Let's continue to add. So what we are going to add also to this refinement, we are going to ensure that the created image fits very well in the image dimension that we already have on that card. That means we are not going to change anything. We are just going to create the image and place it there and ensure that the face close-up is very visible for that face to be seen. Full stop. So we are also going to reference our master prompt. So we have a master prompt, and this prompt is a layout of how we want the implementation plans that we get from this very tool to be laid out in a more systematic way. So our master plan has various sections. If I can reference it here, let me look at it. So this is our master prompt. It has various sections. It has the task where you clearly explain this task in a much more better way. It also has the context. So with the context, you are going to explain the broader part of what you want to be done. And then when we go and we further go into the issue highlights the issues that you are having. If you are having refinements that you want to make, it's going to highlight those issues in a much more better way. And then you have the request. What do you really want to work on? And then below, you're going to have things like the exemplar. You're going to exemplify the various codes, like how you've seen. I've referenced this code snippet here in Google Anti-Gravity. I've also referenced the code itself. So it's going to have that. So it's going to have the format of how you want the code to be laid out, which is also very standard. Remember, you're working with this tool as a senior coding assistant. So you want to give it as much information as possible. You're also going to have the persona. The persona, like for our persona here, we are telling it that you are a senior React Native plus Expo plus TypeScript engineer specializing in reanimated Firebase and scalable architecture. So it's going to understand how it is going to behave when it is dealing with your code base, which is a very standard practice when you're vibe coding. And I believe when you structure it that way, it becomes easy. Also, you're going to have the tone. You have the tone of how you want it to behave, which is also quite good. Let's reconnect our screen. So we are going to give further instructions. Now, when it comes to this master prompt that I've referenced, I want you to ensure that you create an implementation plan for this specific request and structure it based on the structure that we have in this master prompt, and ensure that each and every element of our request is laid out extensively in our implementation plan. And after I look at it, I'm going to approve, and then we make changes to this. So let's remove this, and then I think this is standard. Let's so let's change it to 3.1, because 3.1 is very good when it comes to creating images. So let's push our app here. So we are trying to create a new image. We have this image, but it's not really a realistic image. So I'm opting to create a realistic image, because a realistic image is going to create a psychological nudge that is much more different to what we already have. So let's create that. The reason that's why I'm adding these elements is because you always want people to feel like to feel good, because it is mostly not about the functionalities that you are going to create with an app, but the reason is how are people going to feel when they are dealing or working with your product. The feeling that they get is one of the things that actually it determines 80% of how they are going to make a decision to pay for your product and use it. How do they feel when they are using your product? So you have to customize each and every screen, factoring in the psychological nudges of how people are going to react to it, how they are going to interpret the information, the text, the layout of the elements. So it is really encrypted into the whole architecture of the app. So when you are dealing with vibe coding, you are both you're a front-end engineer, you're a back-end engineer, but you're also a user interface and a user experience designer. So it takes up a work of doing three things in a whole package to produce something better. So we already have the implementation plan. and we are going to work on it. Now, for the people who haven't yet subscribed to the stream, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to join our journey. We are on the journey to reach out to $5,000 which we are going to get from the apps that we are creating, and we are showcasing this journey publicly because we know there are people who want truly to learn the process of how they can be able to do this. So if we are on our journey and we are able to showcase it to other people as they learn, we are also improving on what you are doing. It is a much more better way. But the most important things that you can do in this journey is to be able to support it in whatever way you can. But the most initial support that you can give to the app is by subscribing. So please subscribe to join the journey. Let's proceed. So let's make those changes, and then we are going to review them. So we've given instructions that we want an image to be generated effectively, and then from that image we will be able to review so the image has been generated. So we wanted a close-up image which has already been generated. So let's run these. Let's run these, and we've already generated the image that we are going to add here. So we are running it to ensure that it is added to our app. We wanted a realistic image because with a realistic image, someone can be able to look at that review card and understand that yes, someone used this app and they find it useful. All you're doing throughout the onboarding process, it is to allow users to understand the better part of what you've so when we look at this, we had a placeholder image, and what we are working on, it was to create an image, a realistic image, and replace it here, which we have done with Nano Banana, and we've replaced it in our app, so you can be able to view it. That's why I've increased on the size of this so that it is clearly viewable. Now that we've set out that in a much more better way, I believe we can continue to some other elements that we have in our app. Now, the other element that we had in our app, it was the welcome screen. Given that users who are going to pay after they pay you, we also want to continue to prepare them for what they are going to use. With that, we are going to continue with this screen. This screen is well laid out, but we can make some changes to certain elements. And what I've seen is that we have these vertical lines that are in between these elements. The vertical lines are kind of, I can say, short, and we are leaving too much space a bit up and below. So we are going to refine that and ensure that it is set out very well. Let's go to our onboarding scripts. So I work mostly with documentation of each and every screen and its purpose. That really gives me a sense of understanding how I'm going to structure out everything in a much more better way. So when I go here, we have this purchase success screen, which we are going to work on. So let's reference it. It's the purchase. So referencing it makes it much more better in a way that you can be able to give out the instruction that you want. So let's now we are going to make refinements to our purchase success screen, and below are the refinements that we are going to make. One, in between the elements that we have that are laid out, we have the today elements, and we also have the in 3 days element and also in 7 days element. In between them, there is a vertical straight line. So we are going to ensure that we increase on the height of that. And on the increase of the height of that, we are going to ensure that we push this element to start right below from the title of this screen, just right below it. And then the other element will be laid out right below, rather right above the continue to the up button. That means that we are going to increase on the height of those elements so that the today element, the in 3 days element and in 7 days elements are laid out much more spaced. But that is the refinement that you are going to change. When it comes to the color of the continue to the up button, we are going to change the background color to black. When it comes to the light mode, and when it comes to the dark mode, the background color of the button is white, and in the background mode the text is black. So let's make these refinements to this screen effectively. So after giving that instruction, I normally want to use the speech to text because it makes the work much more easier and it saves up on time. So you can be able to write your prompts if you really want, if you have the time, but for me it saves up most of the time. So let's also reference our master prompt. So now, for the reference of our master prompt that I've given you, I want you to rearrange this instruction in our implementation plan to match the structure that we have in the master prompt. Full stop. And when you are making refinements to our to this specific screen, ensure that you do not tamper with other logic that we have in our app. Ensure that everything is set out in a way that surely tackles this particular problem that we have in the instructions.
Happened in the master suite. I just bought a new house to forget. Heavy head resting on a silk pillowcase. War scars looking like.
So let's make those refinements.
Managing the chaos like a corporate board meeting. The trauma is just a tax on the crown. Victory tastes like cold iron and vintage wine. The cost of the throne. Sipping aged scotch to drown the sirens. Body count is high in the mental ledger.
So we already have an implementation plan.
A general of a ghost battalion in suits. The interior is red like the battlefield. 12-cylinder engine screaming louder than the voices. I trade my peace for a higher profit margin.
So this is our implementation plan. that is already set out. You see, it is structured to the way we want. The task, the context, the issue, the request, the note, the persona, the format, the tone, and what you're going to verify manually, which is already good. So when we use our prompt, it becomes quite easy for us to relate effectively with our code base without distorting things, but ensuring that we get to solve that problem in a much more better way. So we've increased on the distance in between these elements, and that is already set out. So the other element that we are going to make changes to, we want to ensure that these elements that are in the middle of the so let's further refine something just small. So now let's make refinements when it comes to the elements that are in between the hero text of this screen, or the header text of this screen, and the button. We need to ensure that we align them in the middle of we align them in the center of in the center of the header text and the button below it, which means that we should have the same distance from the hero section to the today element. It should be the same distance from the elements that are. It should be the same distance from the button below to the elements in the 7 days element. We need to ensure that the distance from those elements, the distance from up and the distance from below, is the same to have a standardized display of the elements on this screen. So let's work on that. Let's first of all accept these changes that we've already made. And then let's continue with making further refinements. So I think to me, one of the most biggest lessons that I've learned is that when it comes to vibe coding, you're going to have a standardized way of how you approach things, and that makes it much more easy. And that's why I created the master prompt. It makes things easy in that way. For the people who have not yet joined our journey by subscription, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream and support us that way. It's one of the things that you can be able to do to support this journey and be a part of it and see us evolve from where we are to get to our goal of making $5,000 from the apps that we are developing. We are working on different apps, but this is the first app that we are going to be working on. This very week, I'm going to launch another process, and we are going to see it from the start. We are going to start out with a new process of setting out a new app, and that we are going to start with. And from the scratch, I'm going to show you how we are going to integrate the screens that we have, that we've already laid out, and how we are going to create screen by screen from scratch. So if you want to be part of that process, please subscribe and join in with that. So we already have the implementation plan to what we want to change. Let's make that refinement very well. So it has made that change. So it has set it up in the center, which is quite great. So that means when it comes to the change that was made, you can be able to view it, because we are making changes here to center this element in the center very well without getting challenges with that. You can be able to also review what you've done inside the code, because it lets you here see the changes that have been made, so you can be able to accept them or not accept them, which is also something that you can be able to try out in a much more better way. So if maybe you further want to make more changes to this, I can maybe make some changes, bring in the margin bottom,
keep that energy right there.
and
You in the sky. Let's go. Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating our feet, moving so smooth, turning.
so it's refreshing, and I want to view if
Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the
we are making changes to that.
city pulses beating our feet, moving so smooth, turning up the heat. The air is cool, but we are burning up. Expensive silk, I'm drinking from your cup. I like the way you watch me when I move. Locking your eyes, getting in the groove. No need to talk, just let the baseline speak. Finding the top, just let the baseline speak. Finding the vibe that everybody seeks. Your hands are low, I'm leaning in so close. This is the part that I love the most.
So it has gone back, and we've made that change. So, but let's go and review it, because it is in the onboarding process. And as we are reviewing this, I'm going to call upon the people who have not yet subscribed to the channel. Please subscribe and support us in our journey to reach out to $5,000 through vibe coded apps. What we are going to do is that all the apps that I'm going to show here, showcase in our streams, we are going to look at the full process of how we are vibe coding them, so that you get a glimpse of how you can also work on your various apps in a much more better way.
Forget the rest, they're watching from the side. Hop in the flow, enjoy the crazy ride. My skin is salt, your breath is on my neck. Giving you more than you could ever expect.
So let's continue. I want to check out that final process.
Higher than the moon, spinning in the room.
So this is our onboarding process. It's quite lengthy, but it's important that to have all these elements in our screen.
Under the stars, it never is too much. City pulses beating our feet, moving so.
So this is what we added a margin bottom,
Feel the current when our bodies touch. Under the stars, it never is too much.
and that ensures that we can be able to push these elements a bit up and realign them. So sometimes you are going to make these manual tricks just to ensure that each and everything is set out very well. So now we've completed to work on this element. Now let's continue. Continue to app. Coming straight to the app. But in our onboarding process, there are several screens that I identify that we can be able to work on. One of the elements is just the welcome screen. There's something that we need to refine. When it comes to these screens that we already have here, these screens are set out very well. So we are not going to make any refinements to them. The post-production screens, because my process is mostly, first of all, trying to attempt to create the functionality of the screen. So I start with the functionality, the post onboarding screens. And then after that, after mapping it out, I can be able to tweak the other screens that we have, which are the onboarding. So the onboarding takes up so much time. That is where you want to spend most of your time. So we are going to tweak a little bit. We are going to start with this welcome screen because there are a few things that we can make changes to with this very screen. Let's continue to our guide. So it is the welcome screen. Let's reference it here. And put in the request. We are going to make a few changes on this screen. The text in your learning journey starts here. Let's shorten this text to take up one line, and the sub text below it to take up 2 lines. So let's first of all make this change, and then I'll be able to review it. Let's reference the master prompt. Make this change without distorting any logic in this screen and in our entire app. So let's refresh the master prompt. Rewrite this request with a structure from our master prompt, and I will review the implementation plan and then we make these changes. So let's continue to I was giving instructions of the changes that we are going to effectively make on this screen. So I always structure each and every request using our master prompt. We have a master prompt that is set out. That prompt allows us to get access to a streamlined way of how we relate with this agentic IDE, which is Google Anti-Gravity. So the agents that are making changes to our app, they get to understand what we want specifically and where we wouldn't really want those changes to be made. So we wanted a few changes to fix a few things in our app. So let's make those changes. I'm going to call upon people who have not yet subscribed. Please follow this journey, subscribe, and For the ones who have any questions that you want to ask, you can go to the chat section. Don't hesitate to ask anything or talk about anything in as far as how you do it. I know some of you are already in the process of developing your own apps. So if there is a process of how you attempt what you do, you can be able to share it to the community. And then we are going to also learn lots and lots of things from what you're doing. So what we were making, it was a few refinements. We wanted to shorten this that bolded subtext to take up one line, but also this other text that is below, we wanted it to be shortened to take up 2 lines, which was good. The other thing that we are going to add is that we are going to add a logo to this. Let's go here. I've already downloaded that logo, which I designed. We are going to add a logo here. Let's go to our code. So this is our logo, or better yet, let's go to Gemini. Let's go to Copilot to be able to get access to this logo, because I want to replace this structured icon with a real logo of our app, which we've already created from Copilot. So I mostly use AI apps to create logos. So that was the structure of how I was prompting to be able to get access to the logo. So this is our logo that we already have with a white background. So we are going to download it. But what we wanted this logo with a transparent background. So let's go here. I'm going to refine it a bit. Let's go to Canva. I want to remove the background of that very logo. I'm going to do it very fast, and then re-download it and incorporate it into our app, because currently the one that is really super good has a background image. So we are going to remove that very, very fast, and then we are going to go back. So let's work from here. So let's upload that logo. So we already have it here. What we need to ensure that we remove the background. So if the background has been removed, that means we are going to export it here. We are going to ensure that it is a transparent background, and for the size we are going to to use a let's use this version. So let's download our logo, and then we can view how we can add it to it's downloaded, but the size is quite small. Let's increase on the size.
Of the gutter, calculate the risk. Sharp focus in a blurry zone. Hold the vision tight, don't let it slip.
So let's increase on its size and re-upload, rather re-download.
Watching the hawks from the fire escape. Watching the hawks from the fire escape. Every breath is a heavy weight. Stay awake, no rest for the woke soul. Translate the pain into a higher code. The mind's the weapon.
So you want to use this very logo here, because currently we have just an icon, a placeholder icon, which is not working very well for us. Yeah, at least now we can be able to view the sizes. Size is significantly large, so we can be able to use this one.
Analyze the pattern of the street fight. Black ink bleeding on the page tonight. No soft edges, only jagged lines. Building a temple in the ruins of time. They sell out for $1 in a name. I remain solid, immune to the game. Crushing the weak flows with a heavy palm. Eye of the storm, I remain a calm. Esoteric.
So let's cut this logo.
Ancestors watching through the grind. Watch. I manifest as
Let's place it in the our code.
one bar at a time. Dismantle the lies with a surgical strike. This is the life that the warriors like. The mind's the weapon. Pay thicket, stay alert. Gray slabs, mental work. Keep the focus, never deviate. Still will watch the heavens rotate.
Let's place it here.
Warriors.
Now we can be able to go back into our code. So let's continue. For the ones who haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe so that you can be able to follow along in any way. So let's go back. We want to include our logo here. Now let's first of all reference the logo, which we added to our screen, and then we put in a request. Now when it comes to our welcome screen, we are going to further refine it. I've referenced a logo image that is already in our app, which is the Quasar logo. Ensure that besides the Quasar bold text where there is an icon, remove that icon and replace it with the image of our logo, which I've already referenced to you in this request. Ensure that the logo size is large enough to be visible, and it should be of the same height as that bold text, which is Quasar. So you add this logo effectively to our screen. So let's reference our master prompt. Now when it comes to let's reference it. To the layout of this request in the implementation plan, restructure it based on the structure that we have in our master prompt. And after that, I'll be able to review what you've structured in the implementation plan, and we can proceed with the refinements in this particular request. So let's work on this. So we already have the implementation plan. So we can proceed. We can be able to proceed to add that logo. So we generated the logo using Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot is very good when it comes to understanding context of a few things that you're working with. Even when it comes to the product road documents, the PRDs that you're going to create for your app, you're going to use Microsoft Copilot because it's a very good companion when it comes to working on a few things and understanding context. So the logo has been integrated successfully, but its size is small. So can you ensure that this logo is the size of this logo is huge? Now what we are going to do, this is what you should do. Instead of having that logo on the side, ensure that the logo is above the quizzer text, and enlarge its size to ensure that you achieve a very good size. So for the other elements that we have, which is the quizzer text, the subtext, and the other explanation text, you push them below. So that means the smaller explanation text is just going to be to start right above the get started button, and then the other elements are going to be above. And for the logo, you're going to place it above the quizzer text. Can you please make these refinements without distorting the whole context of our app? So it has been enlarged, but other elements have been pushed below. Let's fix that. Now, thanks for enlarging the logo, but I think the distance we should place the logo right below the main card that houses all the images, right below it, and the distance in between that main card, the images card, the main images card, and the logo and the distance in between the logo itself and the quizzer should not be huge. So there is currently a huge vertical gap in between the main card for the images and the logo, and in between the logo and the quizzer text. So we should decrease on that to ensure that each and every element on this screen fits on the screen and it is visible effectively well. So let's just refine the spellings for this, and then we can be able to proceed. So you're just trying to decrease the distance in between the main images card and the logo, and in between the logo and the quizzer text, which is below it, and ensuring that these elements are all visible. So the changes were not made. Let's go back. So let's go back and fix this. You need to ensure that even without decreasing the size of the logo, that all the elements on this screen are viewable. Currently, some of the elements are being pushed below because there is a huge vertical space in between the main card that houses the images and a huge vertical space in between the logo itself and the text quizzer. So you need to ensure that you fix that all the elements need to be visible on our screen. So you're going to work on this without decreasing the size of the logo. The size of the logo is just okay. You need to ensure that the spacing of these elements, mostly the spacing in between the main card for the images and the logo, and in between the logo and the quizzer text, that it is decreased significantly. So let's just refine make these refinements a little bit. So let's use a higher model and we see if this is solved. So we are integrating the logo. We made those changes very well. So currently what we are making is to ensure that these elements are set up very well. So let's proceed and fix this. And ensure that it is set up very well. So we've decreased on that size. We are going to further reprompt and re-decrease that distance still. to ensure that these elements are all visible. So let's accept the changes. So let's further reprompt. So now what we are going to do, we are further going to decrease on the space in between the image card and the logo, and also we are going to decrease on the space in between the logo and the quizzer text. That is going to help us to move all the elements above. We need to ensure that all these elements are viewable without any distractions, that all the elements are viewable on the screen. So let's further decrease on the space in between those three elements and ensure that the elements are pushed a bit up. So let's define this. Yeah, for the people who have not yet joined our stream, I want you to join us in a much more better way, and the way you can be able to do that is by subscribing to this channel to be able to join in on our streams. I will buy code Apps Live that we are going to launch on the App Store. So let's further reprompt. So what we are looking at, we want to decrease further on the space that is in between this. We want to decrease this space and also decrease this to ensure that these elements fit very well on here. And we're just working with Google Anti-Gravity, prompting and reprompting, but also we have a master prompt that we integrate in most of our requests to make the work much more modular and easier. So that is done. At least we can be able to view all the elements, the images card. We can view it. We can view the logo, but also the text that are below, plus a button, which is very good. So we finished with making refinements here on this screen. Let's accept the changes that we've made. So if you love the content that we are doing, please subscribe to our channel and be able to follow up on what we are going to be able to do now. The other changes that we are going to do are here, because I feel like this is something that we can change. First of all, when it comes to the layout, I feel like we can be able to change the layout of the image at the top part, integrate our logo. So those are the things that we are going to do. But I'm going to reference the structure of so let's first of all go to the onboarding screen. In our onboarding guide, let's go in our onboarding guide and we look at the sign up screen. So let's put in a request. Now we are going to refine the sign up screen and the login screen to ensure that we change its appearance and how it is laid out. And below are the changes that we are going to do. 1. So let's reference this payment screen that has a layout of the image. Now I've shared a reference screen, which is the Quick Think Pro subscription. It has a perfect layout of how the gradient color is fades effectively into an image which we are going to place on the top of our authentication screen, the sign up and the login screens. So we are going to use this Quick Think Pro screen as a reference on how the image is structured on the top and how the lower gradient color feeds perfectly into it. And we are going to add an image to create an image and add it to this authentication screen and ensure that this image blends very well with the lower part of the screen. That is the first change that we are going to make. 2. We are also going to ensure that we get our logo. Let's reference this logo. Which we have here. We are going to use our logo, which we already have in our app, and we are going to replace the current icon that we have on this screen with our logo. 3. The name of our app is Quizzer. So we are going to replace the text join Quick Think to join Quizzer. So let's reference our master prompt. So I want you to restructure this request following the exact structure that we have in our master prompt effectively. And I've referenced that master prompt. The implementation plan should be extensive to cover each and every element. Also, in the notes section of our implementation plan, ensure that you add a constraint for the agent not to tamper with any other authentication logic that has been set up already. What you're working on, it is only refining the UI design of this screen in as far as the display is concerned. So we are not going to tamper with the authentication logic that has already been set up. We are only going to refine what has been requested in the various requests that have been made in this very text. So let's continue, and so that we get the implementation plan. So we are trying to make modifications to the look of this screen. It is kindly generic. Yes, there is that gradient color, but I believe it can be changed. So let's make changes to it. The ones who have not yet subscribed to this stream, please, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe, and that is one of the freest things that you can do for us, to follow this journey. When you are following, you are going to be part of the accountability team that is going to make us accountable to continue to do these streams, to continue to explain what we know, to teach, and also to drive along in our journey of vibe coding until when we hit a fee of 500,000 in revenue from the apps that we are going to create. We are going to create several apps, but what we are zeroing down to apps that are solving problems. It has generated an image. And it's trying to read the login and sign in code, and then from there it's going to integrate it in a much more better way. I use Google Anti-Gravity as my IDE coding assistant, because the whole context of the Gemini AI has been integrated into it, so you can be able to use its modules to generate images, even when you don't have images specifically, maybe for your app, for a certain screens that need images. You can generate them from there. You don't have to get them from any other place. You can generate them from here and be able to add them to your screen, which is the images. If you have a master prop like what we have, you can be able to get these images generated with the context of what you truly want, or what your app does. So with the image, I just told you to generate an image, and it generated an image that aligns with the context of what the app does, because it's a learning app. So it understood the context, and then it generated that image effectively. So let it work on these changes, and we are going to review them. So it has made the initial integration of generating the image and then giving us integrating it perfectly the way we want it. So now let's first of all save these changes. We are going to further reprompt. Now, thank you so much for the initial changes. Now what we are going to do, I want you to further make some modifications. For the logo, currently it is very small, so I want you to ensure that you increase on the size of the logo. Also, when it comes to the logo, I want you to remove its border. I can see it has a gray card that is enclosing it. I want you to remove it, and I want you to ensure that you increase on the size of the logo effectively. Well, I want you to increase. Also, when it comes to the top width of the gray card, I can be able currently to view its edges. I want you to ensure that these edges are not viewable, that they are blurred out, and that white gradient color fits very well into the image. But also we need to ensure that as at the end of the edges of the top width of the orange card, the edges of that card are not showing, that they blend perfectly well. I want you to look at the sample of what we have in terms of how that blend is working in the Let's reference this.
liquor for the lost ones. They wanted it fast, I wanted it forever. That's the difference between a sprint and a marathon. Seen the homies turn to on the asphalt.
So look at that screen as the reference image of how these edges from the orange card blend out, and be able to blend that in a much more better way. So you need to increase the size of the logo to be significantly as large as how the current to the current size of the card that houses this very logo. So increase the logo significantly and ensure that also the other elements are embedded well. For the text that you've changed, you need to ensure that these changes are effected for all other languages that we have in our app. So please make further changes to our implementation plan to include these changes that you're going to effect, and then I'm going to look at them, and then we proceed to make these changes.
Just keep it pushing, slow and steady. Yeah, we ain't in no rush. The top floor looks better when you took the stairs. Stay patient while they was racing, still cruising.
So let's make further changes to this.
Sonido de estática de vinilo y un bombo pesado. Sí, es el momento.
So it's making out those changes. It made an initial change, but I felt like these changes can be further refined, because when it comes to someone continuing with the use of the app, these are some of the initial screens that we have: a welcome screen and a login screen. So we need to make refinements to ensure that this screen is first of all very attractive, but it prompts them further to sign up. And that's why we are trying to integrate we have used the Google anti-gravity, and mostly it's Google nano banana elements that are embedded into it to create an image, and further reprompt to make changes to ensure that this screen is set out very well. So the thing with the master prompt is that it is very helpful. You're going to have to set it out. It helps you to streamline how you're approaching each task, and that makes the work much more easy. Even when you have these simple explanations that I'm giving in a simple way, then that makes it quite so let's accept these as it makes these changes, and then we are going to review them. I think it has made these updates very well. So let's I think the edges of we are not refined. Let's reference this. So I want you to look at that screen, but I want you to look at the way I want you to look at the way the white blurry sheet blends first of all with the orange sheet that is below, and also how it blends with the image above. Currently, the edges of the orange sheet that is below on our sign up and login screen, it is very viewable. It is we are supposed to set out logic that it is not viewable. So this white blurry sheet is supposed to be coming from the orange sheet below, and it's supposed to feed into the image above without the edges of the top edges of the width not being viewable. So we need to refine that. Currently, I want you to vividly, as a senior engineer, look at how it is set out in the reference code, and ensure that you make a detailed implementation plan of how you are going to solve this particular problem. Also, when it comes to the white blend, the white blurry sheet that is feeding into the image, it is covering most of the faces in the images. I want you to push it a bit below so that these faces are visible in the image. So those are the changes that we are going to make. I want you to attempt this as a senior engineer, and in our implementation plan, make a detailed one to look at what is already set out in the reference screen that I've given you, so that you can be able to effectively solve this in this screen, which is the sign up and login screens. So let's make these changes. I'm trying to ensure that the image is much more visible, but I'm also trying to ensure that the blur effect feeds into the orange sheets, that its edges are not visible. So let's make further reprompts to change this. Maybe let's use a Gemini Flash, and we see how it's going to attempt this. Yes, we are working on this screen. The logic was already set out for signing in with Google, but we are just refining the visual layout of how it looks to make it a much more better screen. So if you love the content that we are putting out, I'm going to call upon you again. Please subscribe to the stream and join this journey. So it has pushed it further up, which is a bit high. So let's explain what we are seeing. Currently, the image has been, half of the image has been blurred out, which is blurred. Let's which is not the desirable functionality that we need. Requirement: the blur effect to be on the top and bottom of the width to cover the top edges of the orange card, orange colored card, and also to cover the lower the lower part of the image, which means that the image has to be visible even with the blur effect. So let's reference the master prompt. So you're going to refine this specific prompt and structure it into the layout of our master prompt that we already have in our app. But you need to ensure that when it comes to the modifications, that the blur effect works both ways. It blurs out the lower part of the image, just the edges of that image, and also it blurs out the edges of the topper part of the orange card. So the blur is going to be both ways, but you need to ensure that the image is clearly visible. Currently, the bigger part of the image is covered up, so you need to fix that and ensure that you set it up in our implementation plan so that we can be able to execute it. So let's go for this and work on this. We are trying to refine the layout of this screen. We have already worked on the logic of setting it up in Google. We are just making a few modifications. For the ones who have just joined and you want to be a part of our journey, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to our channel. We stream each and every day at this hour, and definitely we try to explain what we are doing in terms of our approach to vibe coding so that you can be able to learn, but also we try to explain it so that you can also share what you do in terms of vibe coding with the community. And we believe with this we can be able to grow a community that is kind of large, but also most importantly we can be able to hit our goal, which is the goal of vibe coding these apps and launching them to the store and being able to earn up to $5,000 from revenue from them, because we are creating apps that solve real problems. So if you want to be part of that journey, please subscribe. Let's go and continue with the implementation plan effectively well. So we've solved the element for the image. The image is now visible. Now let's solve the element for the lower part of the blur. Now when it comes to the visibility of the image, it is very visible even with the blur present, but what we've not added, the blur effect is just implemented for the lower part of the image. When it comes to the edges of the orange card, it is the top edge of this card. It is still visible. We need to cover that. It needs to be below that. It needs to be below the blur effect. The blur effect that should be both ways. For the image, it is sorted. Then for the one that is below, we need to add it so that that blur effect blurs out that edge of the top part or the top width layout of the orange card. It is not supposed to be visible. So for this specific request, I want you to look at how you're going to be able to solve it. Look at it because it is still invisible, and then we can be able to solve it effectively. So let's make those changes and view how they are going to come out in this particular screen. It's generating the implementation plan. So let's proceed and we get to view this and how it's going to work out.
Mantén esa energía justo ahí. La cima nos espera. Vamos. Vamos. Siente el impulso de llegar.
I think it has set it out very well. So what we wanted that white effect to be set out that the image is viewable at the top, and then our logo is highlighted, because now, given that we have a black logo, it's highlighted very well. It's highlighted very well, and other elements are also highlighted below it. Or maybe we can increase on the size of the logo without pushing the elements below it, without distorting the positioning of the elements that are below it. Let's reprompt. We fix it. We increase on the size of the logo. But what we wanted something where that logo is currently visible, and the gradient of the image really appears very well for that image to be at the top and be visible. So let's work on that. Now you've set it up very well. Now what we are going to do, I want you to look at our logo. I want you to increase on the size of that logo. You're going to increase on the size of that logo, but while you're making that modification, I want you to ensure that you don't tamper with the repositioning of other elements on our screen. So other elements on this particular login and sign up screens, it is supposed to be logic that you're going to set up to increase on the size of the logo without distorting or repositioning any other element on the screen. That means the elements are going to stay where they are positioned, but you're going to increase on the size of the logo. So please make that modification. So now let's reference our master prompt, because it is the one that we work with every request. Now, when it comes to this specific modification that you're going to make of the logo, ensure that you restructure the implementation plan to be laid out in the structure that we have in our master prompt. And I'm going to look at this request that you've restructured and then approve it, and then we continue to make these modifications. So we have a master prompt that is set out, and it entails of various elements: the task, which is the description of, the description of what you want to be done, the context, the huge context of what you're currently working on, the issue, if there are issues that they are the request. So it's quite structured with over 7 elements that are laid out. So we use it for each and every request. Now we already have the plan. So the plan is structured in that way. So for each and everything, we give what we want to refine, and then it is restructured into a modular way that we give to the agents to execute on our tasks. So let's proceed. I'm going to call upon the ones who haven't yet subscribed. Please subscribe to this channel and you follow our journey. We are on the journey to make $500,000 from vibe coded apps that we are working on. So if you truly enjoy the process, what we are working on, or maybe you have questions that you want to ask, you can go in the chat and ask them. If you want to maybe comment on whatever we are working on and the process, or maybe give us advice on what we can do based on how you approach this process, please let us know. But most importantly, when you join this community, I'm going to ensure you that each and every experience for a new stream is going to be much more better. So please join and support this cause. So we've made modifications to this, and I believe this screen has been set out very well. But we further have one modification that we need to make. When it comes to the logo, that is in the button. So let's make these refinements now. Now we are going to make refinements when it comes to the Google logo. That is in the continue with Google button. So currently that is the very exact logo that we want, but we are going to make modifications to it. We need to recreate this logo to ensure that this logo is the exact logo of Google. But also we need to ensure that this logo has no background color. Currently it has a black background color. So for the logo that we are going to place here, we are going to remove that background color, and we are going to ensure that it is huge enough to be visible, so that the users who are logging in or the users who are signing up, they get to understand that they are signing up with Google. So let's work on that. Let's reference our master prompt. Now, when it comes to making these modifications to this specific screen, please ensure that you restructure this request to use our master prompt, and ensure that this request is extensively detailed in all the elements of our master prompt. And I'll look at that modification. I'll look at that implementation plan that you've set out and approve it to be able to make these changes effectively. So let's continue to make this modification. Currently, this logo is not viewable, so I'm trying to maybe attempt this request programmatically. When we are not able maybe to achieve it, that is when we shall be able to get maybe the logo from outside, make modifications to it, and maybe save it in our app and make those changes. But currently, if we are able to try programmatically, let's give this task to the agent to ensure that it can be able to put it very well. Now it has created the logo, which is transparent. I use Google Anti-Gravity because Google Anti-Gravity has been embedded. It has embedments of the latest versions of the Gemini AI, which lets you do most of the things with logos and everything. So you get the context of mostly what you're working with in a much more better way. So if you love what we are doing, again, I'm going to call upon you to join our journey. The way you join our journey, it is by subscribing. When you subscribe, this is one of the freest things that you can be able to do for our journey. So you are contributing to the journey of reaching up to $500,000 with Vibe coded apps when you simply subscribe. But also you'll be able to get notifications of our subsequent streams and be able to join us and get to view us in action doing this, because I believe this is something that is doable and each and everyone can be able to do it effectively. So if you join us, I believe the journey, you're going to be part of the journey, and you can be able to follow along on how we do it. You can be able to ask questions on how we do it, why we do the things we do, why we prompt the way we prompt. So it becomes a community that is after a cause, and I believe this cause is noble, and I believe we are going to achieve this cause because it is achievable. These tools like Google Anti-Gravity, they have understanding of context of code that is much more better than the humans, and that is what I can tell you. They understand how to set up these elements much more better than the humans. So if you can be able to prompt them very well, then we can be able to build out these apps just using vibe coding processes and ensure that everything is set out very well. Now it has generated that image, but there's still a square kind of structure that is below the image. We need to remove that. So what I need to look at what I need to look at is where this image is set up. So let's make a request and further reprompt on that. Now thank you for the image that you've generated. Currently the image is the size of the logo is perfect and the logo is perfect, but we have a certain issue when it comes to the background of the image. It has a grayish kind of square like background that we need to remove. So what we need, we need only the logo without any elements. So first of all, you can make changes to that, or you can let me know where you stored this logo in our code, so that I can be able to make modifications to it manually. So if you can be able to attempt this, let me know. But if you can't, then let me know if I can get access to where you've stored this logo, and I can be able to make manual modifications to it to be able to remove the background and just remain with the logo itself. So let's make these modifications for this app. Most of the functionalities we set them already. It's an educational app that lets people to get access to personalized quizzes, and with the other functionality that we have, they can be able to scan out each and every question. Then with the scan, they will be, our AI logic that has been integrated, it notifies them of let's say they are scanning a question in biology, but they don't tell the model that this is a biology question. The model will identify that it is biology and let them know that this is a biology question, and also attempt it, which is a better practice. I think I've identified where it is storing these images. It is in the assets. So if it doesn't really make that modification the way we want it, I'm going to manually attempt it. I think it's failing to do it programmatically, so we are going to attempt it manually. So people can scan out these questions in any subject and get answers, and a structured way of how that answer was arrived at. We believe that this is one of the valuable solutions to learning that someone can be able to get access to. So this is our image that we have. So what we are going to do, I want us to copy this. I want us to copy it. So let's put it here in the downloads. Let's go to Canva. I want to remove the background. It's because currently we've reprompted 2 times to try and remove the background, but we've not been able. So we earlier worked on our logo where we removed the background. So let's also work on this. So let's put it here. Let's remove the background, because currently the background is blurring us out. So let's remove that background and then reposition our logo. Try to increase on its size so that it comes out very well. So let's export this and then reintegrate it into our app. So sometimes you might try to do these little tricks of things programmatically, but you may not be able to, because maybe the tool, the agentic tool, has been designed to create mostly images, but it doesn't really have elements like background removers. So you're going to find it so then you're going to look out for an AI that can be able to do that. And thankfully we have Canva, and Canva can be able to do this effectively well. So let's go here and call it Google logo. Let's copy this. Matter of fact, let's cut it from here. Let's take it to our app. Let's take it to the assets folder in our app. Let's paste it here. So let's go back in our code. Let's go back in our code and reference it. And make the request. Now I'm providing a new image which has a new logo image which has a transparent background. I want you to look at it and I want you to replace the current image that we have on our button with this new one. But you need to ensure that the size of the logo is set out to be the same as the current size of the logo that we already have. So structure it in a way that the size is the same, and then we can be able to look at that modification. So let's reference our master prompt. This comes with each and every request that we make. Now for this specific request of replacing the logo, I want you to restructure it in our implementation plan based on the structure that you see in our master prompt. And after, I'm going to review that implementation plan and we can be able to proceed to make the modifications. So let's make those modifications real quick so that we can be able to view them. For the ones who haven't yet subscribed, this is a very humble plea. Please subscribe to join our journey. We are on a journey to hit $5,000 with only Vibe coded apps. You can join our community and be able to be part of it. Also share what you get to do in your Vibe coding journeys. Get to share the frameworks that you use, give us advice, but most importantly, when you join the community, you are part of this journey. You are contributing to that tune of the $500,000, and you are joining a community that has set out a clear set purpose that is achievable, and I believe you are going to hit this in this very year. So if you want to be part of this journey, please, I'm going to call upon you to please join. To be able to learn the way we do it. We're also going to learn lots of things from you. In the chat section is very open. You can be able to chat about anything, make advice, and also explain how you do it. But we are also going to ensure that we fully explain each and every process that we are doing in the quest of building out these apps. And you joining the community is one of the things that you can be able to do for us in a much more better way. So thank you for the subscriptions. Let's proceed with this plan. So that we get to replace this logo that we had. Which is the current logo. So let's replace it and we get to review what is being worked on. Let's review it effectively. So it's making changes. Amata. It's making changes. Amata. Let's make these changes and then we can be able to review. So currently the changes that we are making, we are refining this icon. We had an icon that had a transparent button, rather not a transparent one that was not transparent. It had elements behind it, so we wanted to make it transparent. But I think we are also going to refine the background color of this button. It's a white background, so we are going to change it to black so that we can be able to review how it looks. I think the black is going to work very well. And for the text, we are going to change it to the continue with Google text. We are going to change it to white. So let's wait for it to complete that refinement. It's finalizing with the walkthrough. So the process of how Google Anti-Gravity is going to give you the modifications, you give in the request, it makes an implementation plan, you approve it, and after it has completed with the task, it's going to give you a walkthrough of the changes that it has made, and in the exact code snippets or in the exact areas of your code where it has made those modifications, which is a very structured way of you reviewing what has been refined. Also, even before the review, look at the code and what has been refined and be able to review whether it is what you want. You can be able to accept it or reject it. So these changes are okay. It has made those changes very well. Now let's continue with making this request. For people who have not yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you to join the community by simply subscribing. And thank you for joining us as we are on our quest to hit $5,000 from Vibe Coded Apps. So as we work on this educational app, let's continue with making this refinement. Now we are going to further make refinements to this screen. We are going to change the background color of the continue with Google button to black. We are going to change it to black. And for the text, which is the continue with Google text that we have in this button, we are going to refine it. We are going to refine this text to white. The text color should be refined to white so that it is very visible. You are also going to increase on the size. You are also going to increase on the size of the logo. Increase on the size of the logo so that it is much more viewable. So let's make these changes effectively. Let's refresh our master prompt. So for this specific request, I want you to restructure it based on the structure that we have in our master prompt, and give me a detailed implementation plan that includes all the elements in this request, and then we can be able to review that and continue with the modifications. So let's make those modifications very well. Let's make the modifications and then we can be able to review. We are modifying the color of the button and also the text color of our button. Given that we have this white background space, refining this to black, I think in terms of the UI context, it's going to look even much more better. So let's make modifications to this and then we can be able to review it. So we've approved the plan and it's making analysis. So for some of the context and some of the tasks, you are going to see Google Anti-Gravity make a detailed analysis of what it is going to refine, so that it can be able to make the proper refinements, which is a better approach. And all that comes from laying out a clear implementation plan of whatever task that you're working on. Let's say if you just give instructions and these instructions are never restructured into something that the code agent is going to fully understand, it becomes kind of challenging. But when you restructure it in a much more structured way, like what you see in our implementation plan, which is quite structured, then it becomes very easy for you to attempt this in a much more standardized way. Also, it makes the work easy. And I believe these tools are going to even get much more better with time. They are going to get much more better with time. Actually, in the coming future, we are going to be able to generate these apps. For someone can be able to generate an app within a period of 2 to 5 days, if they really know what they are supposed to do with each and every part of the app. So it's going to continue to become much more easier. But what is not going to change, it is that there are evident problems. We have over 9 billion people across the world and they are facing problems. So if you can identify these problems and be able to solve these problems for even the smallest, tiniest percentage of these people, then you can be able to earn significantly from simply identifying problems and solving these problems. You can center these problems around several issues that people have and face on a daily basis. People eat food on a daily basis. People have difficulties in getting access to food. People study every day. They have difficulties in studying. People walk every day. They move every day from one point to another. They have difficulties in that. People forget things. So it becomes very well structured to understand that what you're going to put out really solves a particular problem. So if you can solve a particular problem for a huge number of people, or even a smallest number of people, they are going to pay you for solving that problem. If you can be able to structure it in a way that is scalable, you can be able to scale that in a much more better way. So we've structured this well. And we refined the background color of our logo. So after this, we are going to continue with other screens and looking at how they are laid out and effectively making modifications to them, which is a very standardized practice. So we're waiting for it to finish up with the walkthrough, and then we are going to look into this walkthrough effectively. So the standard way that I've been talking about is you identifying problems and being able to solve a problem. But you center those problems around the daily activities that people do, things that people do repeatedly, which is a better practice. And when you solve that, people will be able to pay for it because they are facing problems when they are going about their daily activities. And this app is an educational app that makes learning very simple for the learners, which is a problem that people face, and we are trying to solve this. So as it is making these modifications and completing what we have set out, if you haven't really subscribed to the channel, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe and join our community. Also join the quest that we are on to be able to generate $5,000 from the various apps that we are coding out. So for this screen, first of all, we made modifications to integrating the image, then also integrating the blurry effect of the image. We've also made modifications to integrating the logo and making sure the logo stands out. It is quite visible and stand out. Also, we've made modifications when it comes to the button, the continue with Google button, which is quite visible now. So now we can proceed from here. You can proceed from here and test out this button. Remember, we had already set out authentication. The way the authentication was set out, we set out this authentication from using Firebase. Firebase is very easy, given that Firebase is a product of Google. It makes the process much more easier. We wanted to use authentication of Google because Google is much more simpler when it comes to authenticating users. You don't have to make it complicated. And also, the biggest percentage of the people that we target have user Gmail as their email product, so it becomes very easy to sign up for this product. So here you can be able to select one of these phases, the grades, given that it's a learning app, and then we take you to through a series of screens, and mostly these screens are to prepare you in the process of getting to know what the app does. You can be able to choose the subject that you are going to master. So you continue, and here we've put a layout of the various subjects. We've coded this with we've included up to 30 subjects. So we have subjects like math, science, history, geography, literature, physics, and then we also have some other broader subjects like business studies, statistics, engineering. We also have some language subjects like English, French, Spanish, which is quite good. You can proceed from here. You can choose any subject. I've chosen religious studies, and you get to access also subtopics during the onboarding process. So this is like trying to prepare the user to understand the context of the app, which is quite standard for us. So here you get to also choose how you are going to learn. Is it going to be casual? Is it going to be serious? Is it going to be focused? And then you continue. You can be able to choose a certain session length. We've included in some of these screens, we've included animations, like for this screen, because we want the user to feel like this is the right app that is going to help them study better and improve in their studies. So to include this, it is a standard to help them feel like this is the right app, so they can be able to choose any session length. Also, in terms of the questions, they can be able to choose questions. Also, this is animated. We've animated it to ensure that someone can be able to add on questions as it increases and decreases as it changes color. and they can continue. We also show them that they will get access to a strict screen where they'll be able to measure what they have learned throughout the days. And this is a daily kind of streak, which is also important for any app. So we also showcase one of our main features, which is the snap and solve. So you can be able to take a snap or take an image of any question or variant questions. And then with our feature, you are going to get access to answers for that specific question or for those specific questions by simply snapping them. You can be able to attempt any questions in all subjects. So it encompasses all different kinds of subjects. We are not tailored to a single subject, but we encompass logic for various subjects, which works for most of the learners. Also here you get to view this feature where you can be able to bookmark any element. Mostly for the scanned questions, you can be able to save them out. So also for this, you can be able to tap here and get to view that wherever you are, maybe in the library, at your home, in the cafe, you can get access to our app and use it from wherever you are, which is very convenient. So also these screens are further prompting users to understand what they are going to go through. And after this detailed prompt, you get a score of where you are. This score is based on the steps that we have gone through earlier in the onboarding process. Remember, I told you the onboarding process is very important. It is one of the most important processes that you're going to have in your screen because it preps users to understand the value proposition of your app. If users are to pay for your app, then the onboarding process has to be structured in a way that is psychologically engaging for them to understand and then make a detailed decision. So here, this one is a review process of all the previous screens that we've had, and then it says it's a comprehensive, your comprehensive plan for your well-being. I think the text well-being, we are going to change it for your learning, to your learning. And then after this, people can be able to proceed. But before we proceed, let's make changes to this screen, mostly to the text, which is what we are going to do currently. So for the ones who have not yet subscribed, please let's make changes to this. Let's go below here and get in the structure of our so let's go and identify this screen in our structure, which is the profile screen. So it is the profile summary. Let's reference it. So now we are going to make changes to this screen. And we have the top text. The top text. So let's write this text. Your comprehensive plan for overall well-being. So we are going to let's refine this text to align with the purpose of the value proposition of our learning app. So given that this screen summarizes all the users' choices, we can use a text that reaffirms that the clients have built their plan, their study plan. Now they can be able to unlock it. So let's get an appropriate text, but this text should be in line with our value proposition. And also you should ensure that with the change of this text, you should ensure that the logic for other languages is also set out, so that when users are accessing it, this screen in a different language, they are able to, it is translated effectively well. So let's reference our master prompt. Now, I want you to restructure this request based on the structural layout that is in our master prompt, and ensure that the implementation plan is detailed to stress out each and every element of this request. And I'm going to review it, and then we shall be able to proceed after that. So let's accept these earlier changes that we made and also input this request. So let's make that a little bit of the change. For the people who have not yet subscribed to the stream, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe. When you subscribe, you are joining this journey, and you're joining a team of rather a community of people who are willing to learn about vibe coding and how it is done. But most importantly, you're joining our journey to be able to hit $5,000 in revenue from these vibe coded apps. So the purpose is to vibe code these apps as other people get to learn from the process, but also the process is to make money from them, which is also another important essence of these live streams. So if you really want to be part of the community, I'm going to request you again, please subscribe and like this video for it to reach out to many other people. Like the live stream, because when you give us a like, then you are sending it out to many other people who will also find this information useful. So if you find it useful in any way, or you've enjoyed any part of the stream, please like it, so that more people can be able to join in and follow along with what we are doing. So this very week we are going to start off with a very brand new app, and from that we are going to start from scratch, and I'm going to show you the process of how you go about to select ideas, how I selected this particular idea, and how I'm going to implement it screen by screen, function by function, and as you learn. So this is one of the apps for it. We are about to launch it, but I'm going to start a fresh new app where you can be able to follow along with the steps and follow along as we go in the later stages of the streams. So we already have an implementation plan of what is going to be implemented. It is laid out very well. So let's proceed with making these changes. So I believe the better practice of making these changes, given that at times you are going to find that you have apps where there are constants. What are constants? Most of the constants that you have in the app, maybe your app has a dark and light mode. That is a constant. Maybe you have constants when it comes to fonts, and you've already referenced them in your structure, then that is also okay. Maybe when you have constants in terms of the various elements and the layout of the cards and how they are laid out in your app, you're going to reference it. So the best practice it is to create a I can say a vibe coded boilerplate. If you are creating many apps, you are going to create a vibe coded boilerplate that really stresses out the elements that you want. So with that, if you are creating a new app, you don't have to go back. You're going to have all those elements that you've already set out, and you can be able to work on those promptly, work on those effectively. So if the vibe coded tool has elements like sign up and login logic, maybe for Google, and you've already set it up, then it becomes easy when you set out something like screens, and then you can be able to make modifications. Now that our modifications have been made, let's go back here and look at the walkthrough of what it has done before we even check it out. So this is a summary of the changes.
Survival is the only brand I truly wear. Stains on the silk that never come out. Clean it up. A massacre happened in the master suite.
So it has made some changes
Forget heavy hair resting on a silk pillowcase.
for this specific
Looking like expensive designer labels. Still winning.
screen. So let's go and look at it.
Managing the chaos like a corporate board meeting.
Let us sign out
Just a tax on the crown. Victory tastes like cold
and then relog in and go through the onboarding process and get to view this screen.
body count is high in the mental ledger. Check the math. Check the math. Cook the bitterness in a copper pot. Served it cold.
Let's recheck it out very fast.
Mayor bought a new acre of land. Iron in the blood, but platinum on the neck. Heavyweight.
So these are our onboarding screens, but we were working on a particular screen. So let's check it out.
Italian suits, the interior is red like the battlefield. 12-cylinder engine screaming louder than the voices. I trade my peace for a higher profit margin. Heavy head resting on a silk pillowcase. War scars looking like expensive designer labels. Still winning. Managing
So this is the screen that we were reviewing.
the trauma is just a tax on the crown. Victory tastes
It has laid out the text very well, but the text is long. We are going to refine it and make it quite short so that we are able to use at least a single line. Currently it is 3 lines. Let's shorten it but maintain the meaning. Let's refine that. Now when it comes to the text that you've refined, which is the
just gets more expensive. Sign the check.
so let's reference this text. We already have it here. Let's paste it here. It is laid out very well, but currently it's taking up 3 lines. We are going to refine that. We want a text that takes up 1 line. That means you are going to maintain the essence of this text to reaffirm the users on the plan that they have laid out. So I want you to shorten this text but maintain the meaning of why the text is there, the essence of the meaning itself. So you are going to shorten it to take up 1 line, and you're going to ensure that you make modifications for this new text to be translatable when users switch to French, Spanish, German, Japanese, Korean, and Portuguese. So ensure that that modified text can be viewable in a translated way and other languages that we have in our app. Full stop. Let's reference the master prompt. Now you're going to add this implementation plan for this particular request into a structured implementation So you're going to add this request rather to a well-structured implementation plan and ensure it follows the structure of our master prompt. I will review it and then we continue with making this specific modification. I'm going to call upon the people who have not yet subscribed. If you are here and you haven't really subscribed, please subscribe to this channel. We are a channel that really vibe codes in public. We teach people how they can be able to vibe code out various apps in public, but we also are on a quest to make $5,000 from these very vibe coded apps. So if you want to be a part of this beautiful journey, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe to the stream as we go onto this journey. So the modifications for the text was made perfectly well, but the text is long, so we are trying to shorten it. Currently it is taking up 3 lines, so it says your personalized study plan. So let me push this below so that we can be able to view it. Your personalized study plan is ready. Unlock your full potential now. This is quite long. Yes, it is useful, but it is long. Let me tell you, when the users mostly they're going through this onboarding process, they don't read so much of long texts, so you want to shorten them to be as much short as possible. Let's shorten this. So we have put in our request. We already have an implementation plan of how it is going to be implemented, which is laid out very well. So let's shorten this to ensure that the layout is short and it is quite important. So what we are doing mostly, we are making refinements in most of our screens. The final refinements, this app is already laid out. It is an educational app where someone can be able to get access to personalized quizzes in various subjects: history, psychology, math, physics, physical studies, different subjects that they can get access to. But also you can be able to scan out various questions and you can get answers to these questions. So we have only integrated these 2 simple features because we know they are the most important features that this app has in store. And we have translated our app in English, French, Spanish, German, Japanese, Korean, and Portuguese, so that people who study in these languages can be able to understand them effectively well. So we are making modifications in some of the screens, but particularly we are making modifications to the onboarding screens. So if you love what we are doing, I again appeal to you to join by subscribing to the stream, be a part of this journey. Our journey is to ensure that we showcase, that I can be able to showcase what I've learned when vibe coding, to vibe code as you are viewing these changes being made. But in the process, you can be able to learn a thing or two, but I'm also learning as I'm doing this. But I also am going to ensure that these apps are launched on the store so that you can be able to view them launched. So if you want to follow this journey from the vibe coding process to the launching of the apps to the store to get a revenue out of them, then you can be able to follow this journey by subscribing and supporting us in any other way that you can be able to support us. So support the stream in any way that you can. So let's sign out and check out the changes that have been made. Let's log in. So let's continue without this onboarding process. We are just going to select any subject because the modifications that we are making there in the later stages of the app So you can be able to test out the save for later with just clicking on any of those cards. So here you can explore how you can be able to use our app in different areas where you are. And with these, they are mostly in for notifications. So it has shortened it to unlock your personalized plan, which is standardized. I like it. It is quite short because it further reaffirms the users of our app. And also for this screen, the essence of this screen, it is to show the user that they have gone through the onboarding process, they have built out a plan for themselves, and they are at a rate of 55%. So it is psychological that they get a rating that is quite lower, and then it shows them that with this graph, they get to see that they can be able to reach this their study goal in just a span of 4 weeks. So we have the now moment, which is just below here. And the rest of the weeks are laid out, and this is the 4th week. So I think these ones, being that they are blurred out, let's refine the colors to ensure that they are taking on the black color. So let's just reference this screen profile. Screen. So let's go here and make some changes. Let's put in a request. We are going to refine the text on the color of the texts on this screen. And these texts are now week 1, week 2, week 3, let's refine the color of these texts too. To black in a light mode. Of our app. So let's also reference our master prompt. Let's reference our master prompt. So now we are going to modify this specific request and ensure that it is structured in the implementation plan in the structure that is laid out very well in our master prompt. So restructure the request and provide me with a detailed implementation plan for this request, and then I can approve it and we continue with making these modifications. Remember the text modifications that we are making them only text color modifications for the laid out text. We are making them for the light mode only of the app. So let's continue. Let's make that modification. We are trying to change these texts because they now text the week 1 text to week 2, week 3. They are blurry. We can't be able to view them. So we want to change them to black so that they are viewable in light mode. We are also, after this, we are also going to check out the dark mode of the app and check out the various screens if the elements are laid out well, if they are visible, so that we can be able to make modifications if necessary. For the ones who have just joined, I'm Julius, and I am vibe coding apps here to showcase what I'm able to do. But I'm also doing this to build out apps that we are going to launch on the App Store and be able to earn over $5,000 from them. So if you love the process and you want to follow this journey to where it's going to get, because I believe we are going to hit these figures and even supersede them. We are going to even surpass them. So if you want to be part of this journey, be able to learn, be able to also join a community of people who are also learning in the process, like the process that I am in, please, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe to the channel. Also, like this specific live stream, like it so that it can be able to reach out to very many people that are looking for this kind of content and are willing to learn. So when you like it, it's also an added advantage. But joining the community is one of the freest things, but it's one of the most important things that you can be able to do for us in this journey. You can also be able to support us in any other way that you feel is convenient. If you feel you are learning something, if you feel like it's contributing to your journey as a maybe a vibe coder or someone who is looking to learn these crafts, then you can be able to support us in any other way. And thank you for watching. It's very enriching and reassuring when I get to see you watch as I'm doing this process, because for me it is a game changer to be able to showcase this. So at least these changes were made. Let's like this, rather save this. So let's make the text bold. Let's make these refined texts bold so that they are more visible. So what we are doing, we are using simple prompts. We are running a process where you can be able to vibe code apps simply by instructing and speaking out what you want. This process is very evident with the latest tools like the ones that we are using, which is Google Anti-Gravity. It is very doable for you to give out instructions and being able to make refinements. Like we gave a simple instruction here when I was talking to make refinements and make this bold, and they're already bold. So the process is easy. As I make it, I know you're also going to learn a lot of things, but also we have a comment section. You can be able to go to the chat section and also outline how you attempt this process. If there is any other way that can be able to improve on this process, it will be very good, because others will be able to learn and we can be able to continue. But the most important thing, it is to be able to subscribe, turn on the notification bells for these for our videos, so that you can be able to get access to them when they drop and when we are live, so that you can follow along. Doing it publicly is more enriching for me, to showcase what I can be able to do, but also to show what I can do for rather for others to be able to learn from what I'm doing in one of the simplest ways. So it was done. The way I learned this process, it was by prompting the way I'm prompting. So there isn't any magic to it. You just have to follow along, maybe get a few lessons from the people who are already doing it, like the way I'm doing it, and then you start. You can start simply with a simple layouts of various screens that you can build out. So as you progress into large, more complex functionalities, but it is ably doable, and I believe you can be able to do it. So let's continue. This screen for it, it is set out well. So this is our payment screen. We worked on this yesterday. If you are not able to view how we set this out, you can look at the stream that we did yesterday, where we set this out very well. It is available on our channel. We set this out very well. We have two plans. We have the annual plan, which is has a 30% subsidized, and our monthly plan is for $12.99. The reason why I've priced this to $12.99, sometimes when you're using tools that involve LLMs, you're going to have to spend money on paying the API providers. And when you're paying the API providers, it is going to be costly when you price yourself in a much more lower element. Given that this tool has an AI embedment for scanning and getting questions, and also organizing for the questions, tokens are taken out, and that means we are using API to structure most of our key functionalities. That is the reason as to why it is priced at $12.99. but also I believe it is a fair price for someone who is trying to learn and improve themselves in any kind of study area that they're improving themselves in. So this is our screen. It is laid out very well. So if you are not going to maybe make a payment and you're opting out, we take you when you close this screen. When you close this screen, we take you to this other screen, which is the trial screen, which is starting with the text "No commitment, cancel anytime." Now this is also good. So that text is psychological. So whatever you're doing when it comes to building apps, I want you to remember that you're building apps for people. You're not building apps for animals or anything like that. You're building them out for people, and people are psychological. They react psychologically. So most of the texts and how you're going to lay them out and for what purpose that you're going to lay them out for, they need to psychologically nudge the client to be able to reach out and make an informed decision of subscribing to your product. So this is how it is laid out. It has that text. Also, it has another text, which is the limited time offer, which is laid out very well. We get to talk about, to showcase our key features, which is the unlimited quizzes and the limitless AI scans that someone can do to scan and get answers. And also we have a ratings card. That rating card is also psychological. It reaffirms that there are people who have used this app and they feel like it is important. And this is a trial screen that we've set out very well. So with this, maybe if you're going for the trial, you can be able to continue. And when you continue, you are brought to this screen, which is your benefits work. So this one, surely it reaffirms what you're going to go through. So it says, you start today, enjoy full access to unlimited AI quizzes and personalized tools. In 3 days, you see your first learning insights. You can be able to track them. In 7 days, build lasting study habits with your AI generated learning path. So it's like trying to prep you or prepare you for what you're going to go to in the app itself. And from there, this is the first screen that you get to see for our functionalities. Now, we've set out this screen. We have both the light mode and the dark mode of our screens. But first of all, I want to re-emphasize that we can be able to go back to our profile screen. I want to check out something. What I want to check out is that I want to turn this to dark mode. Like I told you, we have the light mode and the dark mode of our app. So the light mode of our app is this is how it looks. So when you toggle into dark mode, all the screens are going to change into dark mode, which is a better practice. So first of all, when you look at these screens that we had in light mode, you're going to review them and how they look in dark mode. So some people really prefer to use these apps in dark mode. So when you have a dark mode functionality and the light mode functionality, it makes the process even much more better for the users, because you're building out these experiences for the users. You're not building them for yourself, but you're building them out for the users who are going to use your app, who are going to constantly give you feedback on whatever you're building. So someone is asking whether we made the money. Yes, we made the money. In our earlier streams, we were working on an automated tool, which is a tour web app that we worked on. That app, we have received initial payments on that very app, and we are continuing to refine it. And at the end of the app, we are going to forward the app to the client, who is going to make the final payments. And so, like I was explaining, we are working on various apps This one is a learning app, but earlier we worked on a web app that automates the tour experience of mostly tour operators who are structuring out different tours, and we will continue to work on that. Today we decided to go through this specific app that we've been working on for the past 3 days. And the way you're going to mostly earn from apps, it is by building out apps yourself, but you're also going to be able to maybe identify gaps in different areas, or people who want automations for them. So Google Anti-Gravity is very efficient in building out these automations. So you can build out automations for them and charge them for building these apps for them. So on our journey to achieve the funds that we are going to achieve, we are doing both. We are building apps that we are going to launch on the App Store, but we are also building out apps that we are that for other entities that they have given us. If we receive a gig or a job to be able to automate something, we shall bring it here and be able to automate it as you see it, like we have been automating the tour platform in our past streams. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back to our past streams and be able to check out those ones. But we shall be able to review it and how it works. So what we are going to go through now, I want us to log out. But before we do that, I want us maybe to change the language here. Let's change this language to maybe Korean. When we log out, I want us to go through the onboarding process in the dark mode, but also with another language, because I want to view the texts and how they appear. So this is good, because you are going to identify that some of the texts were not translated very well. So when it comes to the welcome screen, I've identified that when it comes to this title, so let's reference the welcome screen. So we are going to make modifications to this. When it comes to the title of our app, which is it shows very well in the English language, but then when it comes to the other languages, I've been checking out the app in other languages. It is still showing the earlier text, which is quick think. So now what we are going to do, we are going to make modifications to this to ensure that the quizzer text is populated for all other languages and ensure that the proper name of our app is set out in the display when users use other languages, just like how it is laid out for the English language. So I want you to look into that logic as a senior engineer and the context of how it was set up, and be able to make that particular modification for all other languages and ensure that the proper name of our app is referenced when users get to view this screen in other languages. To stop, let's reference the master prompt. Kim. So now when it comes to the layout that we have of this particular prompt, I want you to restructure it in our implementation plan to take on the structure. I want you to restructure it to take on the structure of that we get to see in our master prompt. And I'm going to approve that implementation plan, and then from there we can be able to proceed. So the other thing that I've identified that we will have to change maybe later, I will have to refine the rather recreate I will have to recreate the logo to ensure that the darker element is turned to white, so that when it comes to the light mode, we are using a different kind of logo. But that one, I will set it out very well because it is doable. So when we look at our elements, they are laid out in a much more better way. But what we are trying to translate, it is the name. We earlier made modifications to this screen and we changed the name of our app. But when we switched to Korean, we are not able to view that name. We are viewing the earlier name. So we are making that modification to ensure that the name is laid out very well in a much more better way. So let's make those changes effectively well. And the way it is supposed to do it, it is going to look into the context of how this was done for that particular screen and understand the context that we have in our JSON setup for the various languages. And then from that understanding, it can give us an implementation plan of how we can make these improvements in a much more better way. So let's wait for the setup to be laid out very well so that we can be able to continue. For the ones who haven't yet subscribed to the stream, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe to the stream. You're going to enjoy our process as we are on our journey to earn $5,000 from the apps that we're working on. We are working on both mobile apps that we are going to launch on the store, but we also have worked earlier on a variant web apps. One of the web apps that we worked on, it is a complete tour automation tool that generates itineraries. We worked on that. We also worked on the functionalities of this tool to be able to track different areas of the work with tracking the emails that are incoming, corresponding the costing of the trips, and then ensuring that you are at par with the processes that are done for the tour company. So we've already built that, and it is from that app that we've received the initial revenue that we have. We are going to continue to work on mobile apps, but also for the other apps that we are going to be able to automate for other entities. We are going to work on them, and we are going to showcase those processes as we go along so that you can be able to follow along and also be able to learn effectively. So now we have the implementation plan. It has taken some time because it had to understand the full context of what you are working with. But from that, let's proceed and make these changes effectively. Let's proceed and make the changes, and then from there we can be able to review. For the changes of the logo, we shall make them later because it requires recreating the logo and then being able to review that. So let's go here and look at where we created our logo from. So we created our logo from Microsoft Copilot. So we created our logo from Microsoft Copilot here. So as it's working and making modifications to the functionality that we are working with. So this is the logo that we generated. So we can be able to maybe... so it has made the modification for the text that we wanted. We are able to view it. I think it's still... still finalizing, so let's him. So we can be able to maybe modify it. This time around we are going to ensure that the background is black. Let's give a request here to Copilot to modify the logo, and we shall work on that. So now when it comes to this logo that I've given you in the reference image, I want you to recreate it the way it is. You're going to recreate the perfect size of the logo and how it is, but when it comes to the background color of the image, turn it to black. And then when it comes to the black circle, the black circle that is in the logo, please turn its color to white. The rest of the elements should remain the same. The size of the logo should remain the same, and all other elements. So transform it and recreate it perfectly. Him. So it's trying to make modifications, but I think it has it is referencing the earlier images that we had here, which is not what we want. Let's reaffirm. So what you're going to do, I don't want you to create an image where you are including a mock-up. Look at the reference image that I've provided to you, study it, and then ensure that you turn the background color of the reference image to black. And then when it comes to the black circle that we have on our logo, you turn it to white. You're going to reproduce the exact clone of the logo that I've provided to you. So the task is to understand the visual layout of that logo and then reproduce the exact clone with the specific instructions in terms of the colors for the background and for the black circle to be turned to white. Reproduce it exactly the way I've given you the instructions, please. So let's retry it and get to see. As it is retrying, let's go back to our code. So here, the challenge that we had, our logo, because we have changed the translation to a different kind of language, which is Korean. We have 7 languages that we have in our app. Users can be able to access it in English, Spanish, German, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese. So when we came to translate this language to Korean, the name of our app was not viewable. It was showing the other earlier text that we had for the name, so we have changed it. So that means we are able to view this in Korean language. But as you can notice, some of the texts that we have and some of the texts that we have here, when it comes to the login and sign-in screens, they have not been translated in other languages. So if you're really trying to check out the changes that you can make, you turn to another language and then you go through the process to try and identify the changes that have not been made well. So let's reference this. So we are going to make changes to both the login screen and the sign-in screen. When it comes to when we change our app to a different language, I've noticed that most of the texts on this specific screen have not been translated in those specific languages. So I want you to, as a senior engineer, I want you to look at the deeper context of the login and the sign-in screen when it comes to the proper translations of the all texts from English to French, Spanish, and German, Japanese, Korean, and Portuguese, to ensure that when we choose another language, users who are using other different languages other than English can be able to view these texts in their chosen language. So I want you to look at the context of these screens, look at the language logic in relation to these screens, and be able to transform them effectively. So now when it comes to making changes and applying the changes that are in this request, I want you to recreate a detailed implementation plan that encompasses the structure that is in our master prompt file that I've referenced to you, and ensure that all the functionalities that we need to make refinements to are detailed to the dot. Ensure that they are well detailed and they are included in our implementation plan. And then I'm going to review it and then we make the modifications. So let's make those modifications very well. So the earlier logo that we had, remember in one of our screens where we have the logo, it has been very difficult for us to view this logo because it's dark and the background color is also dark. It was difficult. So this is our logo that we've generated. So we shall work on it and be able to make refinements to ensure that that is worked on. But meanwhile, let's continue to work on this. For the people who have not yet subscribed to the stream, I'm going to call upon you to please subscribe so that you have access to what we are doing, because we are doing it in public. And I understand that for each and every stream that you get to view, you're going to learn and have a different kind of experience from how you can be able to attempt this work, how you can work on various products. And also for the ones who have not yet worked on any product, you're going to learn how you can approach that, how you can be able to start out, how you can make modifications to the functionalities and the logic of specific screens that you're working on. And because you are going to ensure that for each and every screen that we work on, we put it out on the App Store. So And also we are working on several other web apps that we've set out to work on. One of the web apps that we have been working on earlier, when you go into our earlier streams, one of the apps that we are working on is a tour automation tool that enables the tour companies to automate each and every process that they do, from generating itineraries and sending them to clients, receiving feedback, tracking the safaris or the trips that they have. So it is a fully fledged automation system that we've set out, which is quite amazing. And we've also done that using vibe coding. So you can be able to vibe code different web apps into apps that are functional and solving problems, but you can also do that for mobile apps. So we are going to be taking you through the process of both. So if you love what we are doing, please subscribe to the stream and join our community that is already growing very fast, and a community that is looking after learning how we can be able to vibe code apps and effectively make money out of them. So it has finished out. Let's look at these texts. So these texts have been translated very well. So you see it has made changes mostly to our JSON files in French, Spanish, German, Japanese, Korean, Portuguese, and then it has added that to the login screen and the sign up screen. So what we gave it was the context of what we get. Then we re-prompted it to organize that context using our master prompt that you already have, and then it has worked on the functionality. That is a better approach that I believe you can be able to watch out for and try to follow along as the process goes on. So that is how we attempted it. So let's continue. Let's log in. I'm looking forward to looking at other screens. Remember, we've turned our app to dark mode. We've also changed the language, because earlier we were viewing it in English. Now we've switched the language to Korean. But the reason that's why we switched the language was to go through the process and get to know how does it look. So here it is prompting us. We are not able to go forward, because we've not selected any element. We have to select. So maybe when I select, maybe let me change it to that and be able to continue. So when you look at the texts are laid out in Korean, because we've changed logic of our app from English to Korean, and you can be able to switch up to 7 other languages, which is quite fantastic. For the people who are Spanish speakers, they will be able to view our app in Spanish. For the people who speak Korean, they will be able to go through it and access it using the Korean language. So when it comes to the dark mode, even these cards on this screen look much more better. So you can be able to go through this and check out. So what we wanted to check out each element, the subjects and all of the elements. How do they appear in another language? So when someone else is using your app, you want to give them a better experience. When you have translated languages, you need to translate each and every screen, which is a better practice that you can attempt when you are doing working on any app or any tool that you're going to launch, be it web or mobile. So let's continue. For the ones who haven't yet subscribed, I'm going to call upon you, please subscribe to this stream. We are a channel that is going to showcase various web apps and mobile apps that we are working on. But in our quest to showcase this, we are going to create them and seek out users for them because they are solving specific problems, and be able to go from where we are, which is roughly $500 to a tune of $500,000 in revenue. So currently $5,000 is what we've received, mostly as a part payment for the tour automation tool that we have. But we are going to continue to code out these platforms so that you can get a glimpse of what we do. So even when you come to this screen, we saw it in the light mode. When you come in, it is a screen that has automation. When you click it, it's going to show out the various elements text and the animation is there. We add animations because animations make the experience much more better for the clients, given that the essence of the onboarding screen, it is to showcase the value of each and every app to allow the clients to make an informed decision to use the app, or maybe pay for the in-app purchases to get access to more features in the app. We want to give them a detailed experience, and animations are one of the elements that you can have in your app. When it comes to animations, you can go to the website. I'm going to link it in here in the description. It's called Dribble. For inspirations of designs. So you can be able to go to Dribble. Dribble will give you inspirations of designs that you can look at. You can look at the various animations, and from there you can be able to get them, or you can even go to Pinterest. You can even go to Pinterest to be able to get access to various animations, and you can copy them. And with the tools like Google Anti-Gravity, you can be able to explain that specific animations if you have a reference screen, and it's going to rebuild it in a much more better way and granular way. So this screen also reaffirms our streak that people are going to follow along. So now this is a screen that shows the scan and functionality, where you can be able to scan and solve any question. So what we are checking for two things. We are checking for the appearance of the texts, but also we are checking for the translation of the texts. We need to understand that when you're working with these different tools, you want to get access to particular elements, and one of the elements that we've embedded in our tweet is the translations. But also you need to test them out and understand which elements have not been translated. So when you look at now, this one was not translated very well to a tune of what we want. Now let's check it out, and let's make a request and refine this. So let's first of all get the names. Now we are going to make modifications to this to the sync screen. Let's go here in our layout. It's up here. Let's go in our layout, onboarding layout, and then we reference this screen very well. Let's go in our layout screen. It is the cloud sync screen. Let's reference it very well. Now, when it comes to the elements, the cards that pop out, these cards have certain texts, and texts like home, cafe, library, study room, office, park, all these are texts laid out very well in English. But when it comes to other languages, when we translate our app to other languages, and when we view these cards, when they spring out, the texts have not been translated to other languages. We need to fix this and ensure that these texts, the texts that are in these cards, particularly these cards that spring out, are translated effectively for all other languages that we have in our app. So let's reference the master prompt. Now, for this specific request, we are going to ensure that we rephrase it in our implementation plan to follow the exact structure that we have in our master plan, which is kind of well laid out and structured. So please let's lay out this in a much more structured way, and I'll review the implementation plan, and after that I can be able to we can be able to proceed with making the changes that are in this specific request. So let's make those changes effectively. Well, so what we are trying to do, we are trying to ensure we have turned our app to we have changed the language mode of our app to Korean to try and check out our onboarding screens and check out those elements that were not translated well and make modifications to them. So our app, you can be able to view it in English, Spanish, Korean, Japanese, all these different languages. So with this exact layout, you can be able to attract variant clients or users that are using this app for study purposes, but who speak these languages as their native languages, who may not really know English. That increases on our customer base. So it is the reason as why we took this decision, and we are making those modifications. For the people who haven't really subscribed to our app, rather our channel, I'm going to call upon you to subscribe so that you can be able to follow along with what we do. We are always here at this kind of time, so you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, you can be able to like this specific stream so that it can really go out to other people who need this information, who need to learn more about vibe coding, or who need to follow the process, and you can be able to follow our journey effectively well. So this is the last functionality that we are making for this stream. Let's make it out and review it effectively. This is the last functionality that we are making for this stream. So let's look at what Google Anti-Gravity is going to do for us. Let's use Pro, and then we review this. So we are always here mostly for up to in between up to we are going to be streaming for up to in between 3 hours to 4 hours. So if you want to join in, it's going to be the same time that you've joined the stream. You can be able to subscribe so that you get notifications of the stream and how we are going to proceed. So we are effectively getting these edits. So let it edit out, and then we can be able to review what it has edited out in terms of the modifications. So now for all of the screens, as you can see, they have been translated to Korean, because we have switched to Korean for this specific functionality and for the refinements, which makes it a very good practice for you. When you have your app translated in other languages, it has access to be usable by a huge audience, and that gives you access to even reaching out to clients in other languages in a much more better way. Even when you are creating content, when we reach that part where we are going to be able to generate content for our app, when we reach that stage, we are also going to showcase what we will be doing, but that makes it much more easier to reach out to clients in other languages. Even when you're running ads, the cost of reaching out to people who are Spanish speakers, mostly in other languages, people who are speaking French and German and Japanese and Korean, is much more lower to the cost of reaching out maybe to people who are speaking English in particular countries like the United States and the UK. So it makes your target audience much more larger. So that is that's why it is one of the most crucial functionalities that we have. But let's review this. We are going to review this, the change that we've made, and then it's going to be our last change that we are going to make today. But we make these streams constantly. So if you want to surely join in the journey, you can be able to join our journey, and we are sure that we are going to vibe code these apps until when we are going to reach the tune of revenue of $500,000. It is achievable. I'm sure that we are even going to surpass that. But that is the first benchmark that we've set for ourselves, so that we can be able to put out web apps and code out mobile apps that are going to allow us to achieve it. So let's go here, we log out, and then we review our last functionality. Let's log in. Let's log in and review it. So let's continue and review the cards that we are working on. Remember, we wanted to ensure that they are translated into other languages, because currently we had switched to Korean language, but we are viewing them in we're viewing them in English, so now you can be able to view them in Korean. I think we've worked on that screen effectively well. Now, today is going to be the end of our stream. For the people who are joined in, I'm very much more glad that you've been able to join in, and I'm going to promise you, for each subsequent stream, we are going to make the experience even much more better for you, so you can be able to subscribe. If you are able to subscribe, please subscribe to the stream, rather to the channel, so that you get updates. Also like this stream and hit the notification bell, so that for each time that we get to stream, you can be able to get access to our stream and be able to learn along the way as we get to build out different mobile apps and web apps, and drive ourselves to a tune of hitting $5,000 in revenue for the streams that we are making. So see you in the next stream. Have a nice day.